going to be recorded, and now I'm going to turn it over to Yelena, who's going to walk you through Watson Analytics. If I can get the ball over.
Yeah, I have to share. I have to hit share my screen. Oh, but I see that one of them is having control. I have to steal it. Oops. Okay. But I see that another student is sharing the screen. I'm not sharing my screen. So I have to steal the control. So guys, let's make an agreement. You're not gonna be dragging the little ball in the participants. Okay? And another deal is you need to mute your microphone. If you guys are not talking, you need to mute the microphone. As soon as you mute your microphone, the sooner we get started, the more we cover. Okay? So now I'm gonna hit share screen. Okay, share my screen. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, finally it's starting to come up. Hopefully you're gonna see it shortly. So basically what happened is most of you may or may not have received the invitation by now to join the Watson Analytics. And keep in mind that email, it's not going to be from me, it's not going to be from an instructor, it's going to be from Watson. Or the address could be at ibm.com. So what you're going to need to do is you may need to check your junk folder, because unfortunately, this email cannot be resent. It's going to be sent once. Make sure that you check your junk folder, you check everything. Guys, would you please be on mute? Because if I need to pause to remind you to mute yourself, we're going to cover less material. Okay, so you're going to receive an email, and an email has accept invitation button, right? Or what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to click on accept invitation button, or if for some reason if the button does not work at the bottom of the email, you have a link that you can copy and paste. Guys, I still hear some background noise. If you are not speaking, would you please mute your microphone? We want to have a good quality recording. And if I need to stop to keep reminding you to mute your microphone, we're going to cover less material. Okay? Alright, so what you're going to need to do is you need to copy, and you can click on a button, or you can copy and paste that link into your URL bar. Okay, and this needs to be done only once. So you're going to be redirected to a form that looks like this, and you're going to need to enter your email, which is going to be the same email where you received an invitation. It should be pre-populated. And here you're going to need to enter the password. Some of you might be wondering what the password is. You just make it up, right? And make sure that you remember what it is. You put your first name, last name, and your security question, and so on. Now, this needs to be done only once. Okay, I need to ask you for another favor. If you're having a camera on, would you please turn it off, because it's taking up the bandwidth. All right. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and show you here for the next login. For the next login, this is what we're going to use, okay? Guys, would you please turn off your web camera? Okay. Now, here we go. So here it is. That's a link you're going to use for subsequent sign-in, right? And you're going to click sign in. So here is a login page that you're going to see. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go straight to the Watson Analytics. So when you log in, you're going to see this screen, but it's going to be blank, of course. And the reason it's going to be blank because you just received your account. You're not going to have any data set in there, right? So you see here two areas, personal and shared. Everything that's in a shared folder is everything that you can access, right? Anything that was created by your teammate or instructor that was shared with you. And you also have a personal folder. That's everything that you created. All right? So when you create something, when you load the data set, or when you create your explorations and predictions, it's gonna be on your personal folder. Okay, I see somebody still has their web camera on. May I please ask you to turn it off? Because it's taking off the bandwidth. Okay, now what you're gonna do is to load the data, right? You're gonna need to load the data to start working with the data. First of all, the files that can be loaded are in CSV or Excel format. And you want to make sure that the column names are descriptive. Every column in your CSV file or Excel file will become the variable. And very important to make sure that the headings are descriptive, and I'm going to show you why shortly. So what you're going to do, there is more than one way to load data, but you go here, add, and you're going to click, you can either drag and drop the file, right? If you know where the file you saved at, you can just drag and drop, or you can click upload data right here. Then I'm going to hit browse, and it's going to open up the window. It's supposed to open up the Windows Explorer, right? Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the data set that I wanted to use, right? And that's a data set that stores the car's information, including the miles per gallon, the car's price, the car risk level, the number of doors, and so on. So you see here the message says transferring. It means that my data is loaded. Here it is showing me that my data set is in CSV format, and here I'm going to see the date, right, today's date. Now, looks like it's finished loading, and what this number is, it's a data quality score, right? The data quality score is going to tell us the quality of data, and it's determined by if the data has missing values, and it's looking at the skewness of each variable, and it's looking at the outliers, and more. Now you notice there's 3 dots right here. It's a menu. So what you can do is you can hit rename, you can change, you can rename, or you can refine, and I'll show you what it is shortly, or you can move. Move, what it's going to do, it's just going to copy the data set into the, you can share it with others, or you can copy it in a folder, and I'll show you that also. Now, so what you can do is here you click, right? Notice this. What is this? Those are the column names, right? So the reason I say that the column names in a CSV file need to be descriptive, because whenever I click on my data set, it gives me the suggested list of explorations, right? So for example, how do the values of price compare to cruise and leather? What is price? Price is one of the variables, right? Here it picks up my variables and gives me the suggested list of explorations. So I can scroll through the list, and suppose that it has something that I don't like. What I can do is I can ask my own question, right? I can type in price, and it's going to sort, right? It's going to give me a different list of questions related to price. Or I can use this wizard here, and I can use this to create my questions. Like, for example, what is the breakdown of price by? Instead of rows, I can select trim, and I can hit ask right here. Okay, so now it's giving me suggestions based on what I selected. Guys, would you please stay on mute if you're not speaking? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I can just select any of this, and it's going to create an exploration for me. So for your assignments, you're going to need to do refinement, and you're going to need to do exploration, prediction, right? So here I'm going to start with exploration. There we go. So what it did is it picks up the graphic that suits the questions more, right? So that's what it did here. And I can go ahead and I can add another one. I can have more than one exploration in a workbook. So now, suppose, what do you want to explore next? And I'm going to type price in here. And I'm going to pick, okay, how does the values of price compare by cruise? Okay, I can just go ahead and pick, and it's going to add the second page to my workbook. Right? There we go. So now my workbook has 2 pages. Okay? Suppose what you see here is that's called the data tray, and here it lists my variables. Right? It lists my variables in my spreadsheet that I loaded. Right? Let me close out from here for a second. Let me go. I'm going to show you how the data looks like. I should have started from it probably, but let me go in here. I can click here. I'm going to select refine. Okay, and when I click refine, it's gonna show me my data. The first row in here are the column headings, and they're gonna match the column headings in Excel. And here are my actual data, right? So each data row corresponds to the single car record, and each column corresponds to the column name in a CSV file that I loaded. Guys, I still hear the background noise. The more times I need to stop to remind you to mute yourself, the less information they're gonna cover. Okay, now what you could do in here is, oops, sorry guys. Now I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what you can do in here is you can filter your data by values, right? For example, suppose that I'm not interested in all of the car models, and I want to exclude some. So what I can do is I can click here. Okay, and it's giving me the list of options. If I have not selected anything, it's going to display the data. It's going to include the data for all car models. And suppose that I'm interested in a few of them, I'm just going to need to go ahead and explicitly select. There we go. Right? So I'm just select the ones that I'm interested, and in here it's going to show me what I have selected. Okay? It's going to list what I have selected. Okay? And now I need to stop again to remind somebody to mute the microphone. Okay, there we go. So that's basically what it does. Is right now I selected 3 values. So what it's going to do is it's going to filter my data, and the data will include the values that I selected. And suppose that I don't like what I did. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit undo. Right? I can undo. Right now what I was just doing, it did not save it. What you have to do is you have to explicitly hit save, and then you have an option to give it a name, and I'm going to save it in my personal folder, and I can just name it. But when I name it, I want to make sure that I don't have another file with the same name, and I'm going to click save. Okay, now it says save and please wait. Oh, this is really interesting. No permissions. I'll have to look into that. Oh, it's probably because I already have something with the same name. So let me do this. I'm going to rename this. And I'm going to hit save. Okay. Okay, now it did it. So basically, something to keep in mind that you cannot have more than one file with the same name. So whenever you get an error message that I just received, you would need to just rename the file. Okay? I think I hear some background noise again. Alright, so another thing that you could do in here is, notice that here, the cylinders, for instance, right? I see the slider. The slider allows me to select the range of values that I want to see. But suppose that I'm not interested in a range, right? Since this column has a set of discrete values, right? I don't want to pick a range. I want to be able to pick discrete values, specific, like 2, 5, and so on. So what you would need to do is you would need to open the properties, and in the properties you can change between select values and the slider, right? You can change it here. I want to do select values, right? That's it. So and then I'm gonna have to, yeah, okay. So this is how you would do it. You have an option here to toggle, or you can toggle between slider, or you can pick select. Now here you can also do, you can change name, right? You can rename the column, and you can sometimes you can change, for some columns you can change the data type. I can change it to text, or I can change it to time interval. For some reason it just gives me time interval. Okay, so let me close this out. What you also could do is you could create the data groups. I'm gonna click right here to open the properties. For some reason it's not, okay, it's slow. Oh, okay, there we go. So guys, please make sure that your video cameras are off, that your camera is off, because it's taking up the bandwidth. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit the data group, and here, since I have selected my make variable, I can group my cars by different types of make. Like, for example, what I can do is I can click new group, and I'm gonna type, for instance, group 1. I'm just making it up. I'm gonna hit OK, and what I can do right now is I can say, suppose that the cars with the make Buick belong to the first group, so I'm supposed to drag and drop, right? I can drag and drop, and then I can add another one, Saturn. I'm gonna drag and drop. Okay. Okay, for some reason it's a little bit slow. Okay, so anyway, what I could do is I could group multiple values in the same category, right? That's what I could do here. Oops. Oh, there we go, it finally worked. So now what I could do is I could also create a new group, right? I'm creating the new group, and I'm gonna say group 2, right? Click OK. And now what I'll do is I can just drag and drop the rest of my values, perhaps, right? And the reason it is useful is sometimes you want to calculate the averages per group, right? For instance, you want the average price per group of the cars, right? Okay, now, another thing to consider is that whenever I create groups like this, it's going to create a new column. Secretly, it's going to create a new column. So I'm going to just say make group, okay? I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to click done. What did it do? It created another column. So, okay, to close this out, you want to click here to close this menu, and now I'm going to scroll all the way to the end. Make group. And what is this? Remember, those are we just created. Group 1, group 2, right? This is what we just created. Oops, right here. Guys, I think I may need to remind you again to mute your microphone. Please. Can you mute your microphone, please? Guys, if you're not speaking, you need to stay on mute, okay? Okay, now, what we could also do is, notice that here, if I click here, I see the data quality score for each column, right? So high quality, medium quality, and it's going to give me if my data has missing values and the number of, in the percentage of data rows that have each value, right? The good thing, another thing that I like here is that I can show and hide columns. So if your company has multiple business units and you don't want certain people to see certain columns, What you could do is you could save a different copy. You can create a different copy of the refinement, so to speak. So now, if I click over here, in order to hide the column, you're gonna just uncheck the. You're just gonna uncheck the checkbox next to the column name, right? So there was something that I just created, make group. I can just go ahead and uncheck it, and it's gonna hide my column, right? Or if I want to unhide everything that's hidden, I can click here, but I'm not gonna do that, right? And I can go ahead and save. What I could also do is I can create a new column, which is a calculation, and I can say, for instance, I'm just making it up, discount price, discount price, right? I can just do this, and now over here I click and I can select my column on which I want to define the function, right? I'm gonna say price, and in here I'm just gonna pick minus, right? And in here I can just go ahead and I can enter the number, and I'm just gonna say as an example, I'm making it up, just 1,000, right? And I'm gonna hit done. So what it will create another column for me, okay? It will create another column for me called discount price. Now, to close this out, you're gonna click here. Okay, so now I'm gonna scroll down. There we go. The column is added at the end, but if I don't like it, what I could also do is I could drag and drop my columns to change order. For some reason, it's not cooperating today, but you can drag and drop to change the column order. Okay, it could also depend on the browser that you are using. What else you could do here is that you could sort the data by values in the column. See those up and down arrows here, right? You could do that. Okay, so now let me go ahead and save. And I'm gonna close this out. To close this, you just click on the minus sign. And it's asking me if I want to save. Yes, I want to save. Now I'm gonna go back to, it says save and please wait. Okay, I'm gonna let it save this. But in the meantime, let me try go back to, okay, so here I'm back at my welcome page. And we're gonna go back to where we were, right? We were at the exploration. I can click here, right? Now, there is something important that you're gonna see in the tutorials and in the course that you're gonna take from Big Data University. They're discussing two types of filters: global filter and a local filter, and explaining what that is. So here I've got my data, right? Currently is showing an average price per cruise. And suppose that I don't want to see all car models. I want to see only specific car models. What I could do is I could filter out only this single page in my workbook, or I could go ahead and filter out all pages in my workbook. I can apply a filter to a single page in my workbook, or I can apply a filter to all pages in my workbook. The filter that you apply to all pages in your workbook is called a global filter. And to do that, I will just click here, right? So that's a data tray. Notice that it's a little bit similar to data tray in a refinement view. And what you're going to do is you're going to click here. And here is my list of values. And I'm just going to select what I want to see, right? Okay, suppose that I selected two, and for some reason you may say just getting tedious to select all of them, or suppose I want all of them but one. So what you can do is you can select the ones that you don't want and click invert, right? Instead of selecting the whole list, I can select the ones that I don't want and I can click invert. Okay, so what it did right now is it filtered out my data by model, and here it's showing me that I'm using only 30 out of 32 available values. And what's going to happen is if I move to the previous page, see that the filter that I just added applies to both pages. And here it showed me that I applied one filter, right? Okay. Another thing that you've noticed in here, it's showing me the suggested visualization, or it's a visualization that I might be interested in, and it's related to the visualization I have here, right? I use this arrow here to navigate between pages. You can also use it here. You can do it here, right? There is more than one way. Now notice it. What is this? This is the column name in the spreadsheet that I loaded, right? I can click in here and I can change, right? I can click on cruise and I can change something else, like number of doors. And what it will do is it will update this chart for me. It updated this chart for me, right? And also it will update the related visualization. Okay, so if I click here, display related visualizations, but the visualizations that it displays, it depends on what I have in the middle panel, right? So basically what I did here, I filtered all my pages in the workbook, right? But suppose that that's not what I want, right? I can also filter a single page. See this? See this? And I can change how it's colored, and I can change the aggregation values, and I can actually change. I can also change the. I can filter, right? I can filter the values that I don't want, right? Yeah. Or I can add a column, or I can, like for example, see this? I click on the doors. Right now it's showing values 2 and 4. I can change it. I can uncheck. I can show only 2 doors, right? Or I can pick my other variable here. For instance, I can pick my make, right? And I can filter it down. I can apply more. I can say I don't want this, right? There we go. And I can click here. I can say I don't want this. Now, and I hit done. Something to keep in mind that the filter that I just applied, it only applies to this page. It does not apply to this page right here, because I defined the filter local, right? On the other hand, if I define it here in the data tray, it will apply to all pages in my workbook, right? So here, it's a price, but I could also change that. I could change it for miles per gallons, perhaps. And it's going to update my chart. See this? It updated my visualization. And notice here, it also gets updated, right? It also gets updated. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that my work is not saved, right? My work is not saved. So if there is a power outage, or if I lose the internet connection, I'm going to lose this. So what I need to do is I need to hit save. And I'm going to save it in a personal folder, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to put 2, since I may already have a workbook with the same name. And I'm going to hit save. Okay. There we go. But if you ever get permission errors, there is a possibility that you might be trying to save it in a folder that's located in a shared area. Or there is a possibility that you already have a file with the same name. Okay, let's hit save here. Another thing that you have here is, here you can share your work by email, or you can download the work as an image, right? You can download this graphics, this chart as an image. Another thing that you can do is, suppose that I really like this graph, right? I really like it, and I want it to be part of my presentation, part of my dashboard that I'm going to create. See this? This will save this to collection. I'm going to hit collect, and if you notice right here, this is a collection. So what I can do is I can save my visualizations to collection for later reuse, okay? I'm saving it here. for later use, and I'll show you where you use it shortly. Alright, so to close out, you just click here. And another terminology that they use, they call it asset. Asset is a prediction or exploration. So if I go back right now to my welcome page, notice that what happens? Watson Analytics created a tile right here, and the tile is called exploration, and the tile type rather is called exploration, and this is a name, right? And here I also see the date when the file was created. Alright? Now here I do not have the data quality score because it's not a data set, it's an exploration. Right? What I could also do, there is more than one way to create an exploration. I could click here, explore, and then select my data set. I could do that. Okay. So now what we can do is we can also create a model. We're going to do prediction. The way you do this, you click on the data set here. There is more than one way again. I could click predict, but I clicked on the data set, and I'm going to hit predict right here. Now, something to keep in mind, different types of variables. You have an input variable, and you have a target variable. Your target variable is a variable that you want to predict. In other words, it's a dependent variable. You see those two terms interchangeably. Price is a variable that you want to predict. So our goal here is to predict a car price, right? See this, Watson Analytics is smart enough. It picked the variable for me. But if I don't want to do price, I can always click on X to remove it, or I can select my own. I can predict miles per gallon, or I can predict the car's risk level or car's discounted price, something like that, right? I can do that. But let's leave price for right now. And I'm gonna hit, I need to enter the workbook name first, and then I'm gonna say create. Right? I'm gonna name it something descriptive, and I'm gonna hit create. Now I'm gonna see that little thing spinning, and here I need to be a little bit patient, and here I see the progress bar. So what is going to happen is right now you're going to see a model, and model looks like the bull eye. And the bull eye is basically represents your predictor. And you'll see it shortly. It's taking time to generate. But okay, it says create in the workbook. So here we need to be a little patient. Usually it's quick, but right now I assume that it also depends on the current system load. What I could also do is I could open another existing prediction if it takes so long. But another thing that you could do is you could do edit workbook, and you can exclude some fields from your prediction. Or you could also see this, notice that you can have up to 5 targets, right? Or you can also, okay, let me see what's going on. I can cancel it. Cancel, and let me see if I have another prediction that I created earlier. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna click in here. I have another we're lucky that earlier I created another model. Okay. There we go. It's taking time to load. Okay. So let's just assume that I created it right now. Okay, let's just assume that I just created it. Here, in the center of bull eyes, you see the variable, the target variable name. It's a variable that I'm predicting. Each predictor is represented as a pin. And the pin has a different color code, right? So the blue color code is the model, right? The green color code is the make. Yellow color code is a trim, and so on. The closer my pin to the middle, the stronger is the predictor. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. The closer my pin to the middle, the stronger is the predictor. So here we say that the car model strongly predicts the price. That is what we're basically saying. Make and trim are the other strong predictors. But what I was doing here, I'm looking at each variable in isolation, right? I'm looking at one variable at a time. You can also look at the associations between variables, right? And you can do here view all. You can see all predictors here, the predictive strengths for all of them. You could do that. Now what you could do is you can see the associations, okay? What you could also do is you could see the data quality. Here it is. I can do view, and it's going to show me the data quality for each individual field in my data set. So here we go. This is the data quality report, and what it does is it put my variables in order. At the top, I see that miles per gallon has the best quality, right? So here I can see the score. I can see the score for each individual variable. It's a little bit similar to the scores that we saw in the refinement, but a little different because it puts them in order. At the top, I see the variable with the top quality score, right? And there is something else. If I scroll down, in the section down here, it's showing me that I have two fields with outliers, and I can click right here, and I get more information on those fields. So it's showing me that my mileage, miles per gallon, has 5 outliers, and an outlier is unusually large or unusually small values. Like, for example, suppose that you have a car that runs only 1 mile per 1 gallon. That's going to be an outlier because it's unusually small. Okay, I can click here. Oh, that's nice. See that I can get my plot. This is neat. This is one of the new features, I think. Right. And you can look at the skewness, right? Positive, negative. See this? And the standard error and the skewness. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out of this page. I'm going to hit close, and I'm going to return to my prediction page. Okay. And sometimes it might take a little bit of time because it depends on the number of users in the system, I think. Now, what I did was I was looking only at one field, right? I can look at the combination of fields. Let me see, 2 fields. So right now what I'm doing is I'm looking at combination of 2 predictors. Which combination of 2 predictors predict the price? And looks like it's mileage and model drives the price. See this? It corresponds to the blue pin right now, right here. What I could also do is I can put my mouse over, and it's showing me the predicted strengths, and then I can click here, more details. And now it's going to show me the visualization. See this? It's a 3-dimensional visualization because this is one dimension, this is another dimension, and the price is the color code, right? So if you look at it, here is my car, which is the most expensive, right? And it's giving me the mileage and so on, right? So, and you can also see the details, and you can even drill down. You can see the ANOVA table and the statistical details and more, right? So suppose that I like this chart here. I can do is I can click collect. I'm gonna add this to collection, right? So I can click on here and I can see statistical details and even more. So let me close out, and here is going to be even more. Right? Here I'm looking at the combination of 3 fields and so on. Now here, see this right now it's showing me that I have 1 target, but I can edit it, I can change. I can add, I can have, I think it's up to 5 targets. Yeah. Okay. So now, let me see if that's gonna work. It says coming soon. So unfortunately at this point I'm unable to see the model, but it's coming soon. Okay. Now, what you could also do is you can do view all here. It's going to show you, well, of course it's very difficult to read when you're doing the combination of variables, but you got the idea, right? So now I show you the prediction, and this, it's saved. You don't need to save it. Notice that this is saved. You may have noticed that some of the icons, some of the functionalities are available in all pages, right, in all screens, like this one. Right here, I can share. It means that I can email my visualization, or I can save it as an image, or I can download, or I can share it on Twitter. Okay, so let me close this out. And what is this? This is help, right? This is also available on other pages. I click here, and here I can click on Documents. What this will do is it will open the documentation for Watson Analytics. And what I like here is that it's broken down by the topics. For instance, I want to know something about my prediction. I click, and it's going to open the sub-pages in here. And I can select further. I want to know how to generate my prediction. And then I want to know how to open the prediction. There we go. So you can read all of this documentation and notice that it gets updated, right? Alright, so this is the latest version. They keep it updated, which is really nice. Right. So now to navigate away from this page, you click here. Here's how to go back to welcome page, right? But the docs page still open. If you want to close it, you would have to click on the minus sign here to close it. Now, something else I wanted to point out is if you look at my personal area here, it's a big mess. Well, I have a lot of stuff in here. So it's very easy to get lost. So what you can do here, see this? You can create a folder. I click here, new folder, and I'm going to put folder name, I'm going to call it, I'm just making it up, assignment 2, right? I call it assignment 2, and I'm going to hit create. Oops, we can't create a folder. Oh, because there is already a folder with the same name. Okay, gotcha. So when you get this error message, it means that you already have the folder with the same name. You cannot have the second folder. You cannot have the second folder with the same name. So let me do this. Let me try this homework too. And let me hit create. There we go. But it's good that I got an error. That way you can see what I did to solve the error, right? Very often you get an error message because you already have something with the same name. You already have a folder with the same name, perhaps. Alright, so now this is really long list of things. I have a lot of stuff here. So what I could do is I can move some of my files in a folder. So you see this? On the options, there is a triple dot here. I do move. And here I expand. And I'm going to see the list of folders that I have. Homework 2. And I'm going to hit move. There we go. So what did it do? It put a file in a folder, right? It put this file that it just created in this folder. And here is a path. It tells me where this file is located, right? So this is personal area. Subfolder name is homework 2, right? So this is a good idea to use folders to organize your work. Also, what you could also do is, see this? I have a lot of stuff. I can filter it out right here. I can show everything, or I can show only the explorations. See this? Or I can show only predictions, or explorations, or just predictions. I can filter what I see here, but there is something to keep in mind here is that suppose that I select, let me show you this. I'm going to select, I'm going to select X. Okay, let's do this. Let's select data sets and let's uncheck the prediction and let's select folders. I'm going to show you something. So I selected these two, right? Now I'm going to go inside my homework 2 folder. Oh, where is my file? It's gone. This is a common reported error that I've been receiving from students. I don't see my file. Why is that? There we go. It's because I went in the filters and because I selected data set and folders only. So here, keep in mind that it will apply to folders as well. If I filtered my view to see only data set and folders, right? When I go inside the folder, I'm not going to see my exploration. So that's something important to keep in mind. Okay, so what I'll do here is I can either select an exploration or I can just select all, and that will do it. Okay, so this is very important, something to keep in mind, because I had students tell me that, oh, where is it? I moved it to my folder, but somehow I don't see it. It got deleted, but no, it didn't. It's because of the filter here, right? Now let me go back to personal area. And here I can sort, and currently I'm sorting it by date, and I can also sort it by name, right? Last modified, okay, last modified is the date when I made the last change. Created, for the files, it's going to be the date when I uploaded the file, and for the predictions, perhaps it's going to be the date when I created the prediction. That's what it is. Right. Another thing that I wanted to show you what not to do. Okay. I need to show you what not to do. Here is my data set, just wages, suppose. And what I want to do is, I want to share it with everybody. Okay, so what I do is, I'm going to hit move here, and I'm going to say shared. What that will do is, that will share the data set with everyone in the system. Why? Because by default, it's going to inherit the permission, but I'm going to show you what not to do in there, or you might lose work. Okay, here it is. See, this is the default. I'm going to hit OK, and right now I'm going to go to the shared area, and believe it or not, accidentally I lost my admin rights one day because I was not careful. Okay, so what you do here is you click here and set permissions. Okay. Here it is. So what I do is, right now, I have full control. Everybody in the system has full control of this tile, right? I can do is I can uncheck this and clear all. There we go. So what if I click OK? Notice that I myself no longer have access to this file. I'm going to lose access to this file myself. That's it. It will be gone. Nobody will be able to access the file anymore. Okay? So this is something what not to do, right? Because you lose access. However, if by mistake, if you select this option, this is recoverable. Because if you still have view and edit, you can still open the file and save a copy to your folder. You can still open, if you have a view and edit permission, you can still recover because you can open it and you can save a copy to your folder, right? I'm going to hit cancel. I don't want to save this. Okay, I'm going to hit don't save, right? Okay, so basically, what you could do is, suppose that I have a file here. Let me see. I have wages file here. So it's in a shared area, right? What you could do is you can do refine, and then what you do is you just save a copy. You're just going to save a copy of this, right? You save it to your local area. So I hit on save as, and I just say wages, refinement. I'm going to say like copy, right? That's it. I'm going to hit save. So basically, even if I have a view permission, I can still recover it. I can still save it. But I showed you what not to do. Make sure that when you move something to the shared area that you don't do clear all, because it means that everybody will lose access to that file. And I'm not even sure why it is possible to do it, but it's a warning not to do it. Alright, so let me close this out. Now it is my understanding that one of your projects is going to be the group project. So this is where shared area will come into place. And what you would do is you would need to store the files for your group only in a folder created for your group, okay? So you're going to have a folder here dedicated for your group, and you're going to, when you save the file from your personal area, you want to copy it in a folder, only in a folder for your group. And when you have a folder for your group, you want to make sure that only your team can access it, okay? Only your team members should have access to the folder, okay? This is very important, because you don't want other group members to access your work, right? So this was a group 4 from last semester, for example. If I click on set permissions, see this? What the team did is they only gave access to people who was part in that group. So what I can do, I can just sort here, have permissions. See this? This is the right way to do this. Only people who belong to the group should be able to see it, and you can give access to instructor and TA as well if they need to help you, if they need to log in and assist you with something. Another thing is we're gonna get to the view. Basically, what you could do is you can create a nice presentation of all of your explorations and other visualization. What you do is there is more than one way. I can click assemble here, and I can select my data set that I want to use. Again, I can choose data set, or I can choose refinement. I can choose the original data set that I imported, or I can choose refinement, right? So for right now, let me just do original. I do this, right? There we go. So here I have an options to select the layout, and I can do tabbed, I can do single page, right? So let's just do this just for simplicity. And here as a suggested layout, just to keep it simple, and for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to do this template. And also I have to put my name. I have to name it. By default, it just put the dataset name and put a suffix view, but I think I may already have a view with the same name. You cannot have two views with the same name, so I'm just gonna rename it, and I'm gonna hit create. Okay, there we go. So now what's gonna happen is I can add new visualizations, I can add text, or I can add the visualizations that I created earlier. See this? This is my car prediction. What I would do is I select it. I would need to drag and drop. Now, see this error? When I click it on top of these errors, okay, the size of the prediction, the size of the visualizations that I'm adding is going to match the size of this square. See this? It's going to fit nicely. I don't need to go back and resize. I don't need to go back and forth, right? I don't need to move it around. It's just going to fit inside the container. Isn't it neat? It is neat, right? Okay. So now another thing to keep in mind is the dashboard. It has two modes, edit mode and view mode. Right now it's in the edit mode. Edit mode, it means we can add elements and we can make changes. So if it's in the edit mode, the pencil in here lights up, right? The pencil lights up. Here I need to save this, right? And this is the name, and I want it in a personal. I hit save. There we go. Now, what also I can do is to toggle between view and say if you just click on a pencil, right? This is a view mode, it's not editable. I cannot just go ahead and delete this. I cannot add anything else to my dashboard right now. But what I can do is I can add this image to collection again if I made any changes to it, or I can go back to edit. If I want to add more visualizations, I can go back to edit and I can add the web page's URL here, or I can create new visualizations, or I can just drag and drop another visualizations right here. I select this and I drag this. Oops. Okay, let me close this out. I would need to scroll here where I want to put it. Suppose that I want it here, and then I would have to go here and just drag this. Okay. Oh. Okay. So basically you got the idea. You would need to select it and you would need to drag it right here. Okay. All right. Oh. Okay. There we go. It took some time to come up. Now, look at this. This is still interactive. I can still change. I can still change my variables. Right. I can still do the filtering. See this? I can still apply filters from right here. Here. See this? Models for selected. I can still unselect. See this? It's interactive. It's going to change. I can change here on the fly. On the fly, right? On the fly. Sorry. I can do these changes. I can even add a column here. Or I can change how I color. Right? What I could also do is, let me close this out, and I can add the text, and I can add anything basically I want. Like I can add right here, and I'm just gonna type something in here, Yelena. And just for the sake of the example. Alright. Currently, it does not have an animation. What I could do is I can play it as an animation. And to do this, there is, okay, you would need to create a slideshow to do this. Currently, I created it just as a dashboard. I didn't create it as a slideshow. Okay, let me close this out. Okay, so what I could also do is I could even apply filters right here in this area, right? I can filter and I can do the sortings, right? So we see that piece. Oh, here we go. Let me click and let me. Oh, here it is. Okay, got it. Create a story. Look, it's in here. It's create a story. There we go. So now let me save it. And I'm going to save it in my personal folder. This is the name. And I'm going to hit save. Basically, the difference is the story, it adds an animation. And you can specify in which point of time I want certain elements to be visible. Okay? So I'm in the edit mode. And I would need to go here. Click here. And for each component, I need to specify the time when it's visible. Okay, for some reason it's not cooperating today, but what you need to do is, 1 second, here we go, finally. So what you'll see here is that for each piece that you have on your dashboard, you're going to see this bar in here. Each bar right here corresponds to a separate piece that I have in here, right? And here is my timeline. What I do is I select the end of the bar and I drag and drop, right? So this is a timing. It tells me that show me this piece right here, right? This element. Show me when the clock hits this time, right? And I can do like this. And here is a stopping point. Now keep in mind that you want this line up. If this does not line up, then you're gonna have the present, you're gonna have some elements not visible at the end of the presentation, right? So here we go. Let me try what happens. Play. Oh, I would have to scroll up to. I see what I'm doing. I see what's wrong. I need to minimize this. Oh, see this? Now the text appeared. See this? In the beginning, when I hit play, this piece right here did not show, right? Let me minimize this. There we go. I can minimize it and then hit play. Here we go. So now you're gonna see it. See this? I have 3 visualizations rather at the moment. And what you do is when I start playing in here, I don't see these 2, right? So here's my time. This one appeared and then this one. So that's basically what it is, right? This is a story. It's an animation, and if you go to the edit mode, you can add components to it, right? And make sure to save it. Make sure to save it, or you might lose it. And here is undo, redo, right? And from each screen, you have access to the help, to the documentation, and you have access to collection, and you have access to your profile. You're not gonna see administrator, but you're gonna see my account. It's just gonna tell your email and your space that you have, right? So let me close this out, since I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do. Okay, now to close this, I can click on the minus sign, and there we go. I can click on another minus sign to close that one. So now I'm back at my personal area. Let me close this. Let's see what I may have missed. So here it's showing you where to log in. Oh, here it is. It's no longer called a discussion. That's called forum right now. So if you have a question about something, there is a high chance that someone else may have resolved this already, right? There's a chance that another user had the same question. So to access this, you're gonna do $community, right? $community, and you've got the discussion board, which is part of the community. And this interface has been updated recently, so it might be slightly different. So you would have to select Watson Analytics here, and in here you have it. You have it here, forums. Oops. Forums. So basically what you can do is you can read through questions and answers, and you can post your own question, but keep in mind that you need to be logged in to Watson Analytics to post your own questions here. You need to be logged in. Another thing that I did not show you, here you're going to get a copy of this presentation when you get a recording. It shows you the list of available resources and a nice set of the tutorials. But very important, I believe you would need to complete the course before you get started working on a project. There is a course that you would need to complete from Big Data University, right? And this is an excellent course. But something to keep in mind in there is that when you complete all of the sections and you complete the test, you may notice that your certificate is not available. It's because you need to complete the course evaluation before the link to certificate becomes visible. So keep in mind that after you pass the test, you need to complete the course evaluation, right? If you want to print the certificate. Well, let's say print, you can actually save it as a PDF and then print it. Okay, so the test has 20 multiple choice questions. You have 1 hour. Okay, so now here I'm just basically going over. This is a summary of the different screens that we discussed today, and here I'm showing you how to create folders, right, and different data sets and different use cases that you have available for you. I guess now at this point, let's see if we have questions. I know that I realize that I have shown you guys a lot of information, but let's see what questions we may have. Questions? Anybody has questions? Then I guess I will have a question. When you add the data set, right, where do we add this? Do we add this to the shared folder or do we add it to the personal folder? Where do we add this? Personal. Excellent, Jordan. Excellent. See? Somebody was paying attention. Excellent. I like that. I like when audience, yeah, has an email, account and email been sent, I would need to check with your session. But as soon as the admin of your session processes, right, you're going to receive your email, but you would need to check your junk mail, and you would need to check, it couldn't jump in your junk mail, believe me. So what I would recommend is that as soon as you get it, it does not take long. Just go ahead and activate your account. Just go ahead and activate, because we all get hundreds of emails and we all lose emails easily, right? All right. So let's see what other questions we have. And yeah. Any other questions? So I showed you what to do, I showed you what not to do, right? And this might sound like, oh, I'm not gonna do this, but this could be serious, because honestly, I made a mistake myself and I lost my admin rights. So it happens. Anybody else has questions or anything, or any comments or anything like that? Steve, is there anything you would like to add?
I do see one more question. It says, is there a step-by-step training video for each function in Big Data University? And the answer is yes. Big Data University has many videos to walk you through each and every step of the process in the 2-hour course, so you'll be fine with that. And I have sent the emails for section 9040 for Data 610. This is a node, so be looking for those. They should be on their way. I sent them out this afternoon. I asked IBM to send them out this afternoon. They actually comes from them, not me. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions, so I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording again. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there another question?
No. I was just going to say, in order to access this course, you need to create a free big data account. That's all. Yeah, because sometimes, yeah. Oh, sure. You're the most welcome, Jordan.
Okay. Well, that's the key. We want you to have that Big Data University course because it's excellent. It will walk you through each of the 4 pieces of the process that Watson uses. It won't make you knowledgeable of everything because there's a lot there and they're always improving it. But you're going to have 4 assignments with Watson, so you need to get through the Big Data University course. You won't get a grade on any assignment with Watson until your completed course certificate is deposited in the assignments area that's appropriate. It's a nice, friendly little course. It's very informative and very well done. It's excellent. That's why we're recommending or requiring it for everyone. Another question says, do we have to complete the course before using it? I assume you mean before using Watson Analytics. And the answer is no. You could get started. I do recommend you do the course first because the course actually makes you use Watson Analytics. So in the course, you'll be doing things with Watson Analytics. So, you know, the course is really both all about Watson and has you do some things. So it's extremely well done.
Oh, but there is part of the course that will not be able to do. It can be just ignored. There is a part of the course where it shows that the data can be pulled from the database. So that piece can be skipped because we're not doing the database in the data 610, right?
very good. Yes, yes. You skipped the part of the Big Data University course where you're pulling data from a database. That's a very powerful feature, but we do not have time or resources to do that in 610. You may do
Yeah.
that later downstream.
615, yeah. Data
Yes.
615. Mm-hmm.
It says, is there an issue if we sign up for the open free course and the UMUC account? There might be an issue, Jordan, in the sense that you may only use your email address once for one Watson Analytics account. In fact, as we warned everyone, or I think all the faculty warned everyone, if you've already used your email address for any IBM account, it will not work for Watson Analytics. You have to have a new email address. So I've had 3 or 4 in my class supply me with alternate email addresses. So if you're going to sign up, when you say the open free course, the free course is from Big Data University. The UMUC account is going to be basically from Watson Analytics. So I think you'll be okay. But again, if you do sign up for more than one Watson account, you're going to have a different email address. She says they want an email address, which is why I asked. I assume you're talking about Big Data University.
Big Data University, you can reuse.
You can reuse for Big Data University, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about IBM Watson Analytics when I said you couldn't reuse it. So you can use your email address for Big Data University, yes. Same one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's different.
That's different, yes.
Mm-hmm. But this and also the IBM Academic Initiative and the Bluemix and the Watson, those 3 clouds, we cannot use the same email more than once. So. Yeah.
Now, I know you've seen a lot tonight from Yelena. She's our expert on it.
Thank you.
The only way to learn anywhere close to the mega picture that she's painted is to get in there and play with it. It really is. You've got to use it, try things, explore things, look at the documentation. That's how you learn. This was designed to be an end user analytics package, and it has really taken off. They've got well over 500,000 users in about a year and a half of being out there. They're improving it tremendously, so it's a great opportunity. Of course, we are privileged to use the premium version, which has a few extra features. So we're in real good shape there. So this is why it has become a staple of the Data 610 course, because it will give you a full exposure to the various kinds of analytics that you need to do. Not in as much depth as some of the future courses will, but certainly you'll get a good experience with data refinement, data exploration, building some models, and then, of course, building an assembly or basically a dashboard. So it's a terrific package that you need to get in and play a lot of time with. Again, we do require the Big Data University course. That's going to get you started. But the key will be to spend as much time as you can trying things, exploring things, and looking at the additional resources that Yelena has supplied in her PowerPoint presentation. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recorder and make sure that gets taken care of. And then